Hi guys, so today I was gonna talk to you about what you should do when you buy a second-hand car with medyo high mileage, diba? Kasi guys, I bought a Honda Accord maybe, I think it were around 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. And of course the mileage was around 82, I think, when I got it. So I want to tell you guys what you should replace when you do buy a second-hand car that has pretty high mileage. I mean, this car is a 2008, so it's 12 years old. I think the mileage is pretty low for the year model, so 12 years. Kasi on average, 10 to 15,000 kilometers per year, so it's under that, diba? But, of course, for your peace of mind, when you do buy a second-hand car, even though the previous owner would say that they changed the oil, it's better, for me, personally, to change the oil already. So, change the engine oil. So I'm going to show you guys, okay? So guys, this is the Honda Accord that I bought 4 months ago. So it's a 2008. So this is the 3.5 V6. So this is the top of the line. So it has the 3.5 V6 engine right here. Okay, so guys, basically, when I bought the car, first thing I did was go to the car shop and change the oil. So I used Honda oil, synthetic. So every 5 to 6,000 kilometers, you replace the oil, right? So when I got the car, I think it was around 82,000. So I checked the dipstick. So medyo madumi na yung oil, and I replaced it. So that's the first thing I did. So guys, like what I was saying, so high mileage cars, so I replaced first the oil. So I used Honda oil. That's what's in the manual. When you do buy a car, right, there's a manual. So I bought this oil. So it's just regular oil, 10W30. So it's Honda oil. But you could use other oils. You could use Shell, Petron, or whatever oil that has the same viscosity. So the viscosity is 10W30 right there. Then guys, of course, I topped up on the power steering fluid. So I use also Honda. So power steering fluid right there. That's also. Then guys, the second thing I did was I bought Honda coolant. So when I checked the coolant, there's different kinds of coolant for Honda. There's a blue one and a green one. So this one in particular is a green one. The reason why I know that is when I had the starter of this car done. So there's the starter right there. I had the solenoid done and I had it cleaned. So they had to remove the hoses for the radiator here. So right there. So the upper and lower hose, and there was green coolant coming out. So that's the time I found out that it was green Honda coolant. And guys, here on the brake fluid, it says DOT3 or DOT4. So most cars, that's the brake fluid that you use. So I bought the Honda brake fluid. So DOT3 brake fluid. I topped it up right there. Then guys, I replaced the battery because, of course, I didn't know how old the battery was. And the battery that was installed in this car before I bought it was a brand that I'm not really familiar with. So I've got a Amron battery. So Amron's pretty good. I think Amron's is an Indian manufacturer. They make Amron batteries right here. So a lot of cars now use Amron, and I've heard pretty good reviews about it. A lot of cars also use Motolite, diba? So Amron, Motolite, Amtrak, batteries like that. So I just replaced this like 2 weeks ago. So guys, that's basically what I've replaced for the engine. So I changed the oil. I topped up on the power steering fluid. I also changed the coolant. The brake fluid, I topped it up also, and the battery, and also the starter. Because guys, starter is very important, right? Without that, you won't be able to start your car. Sometimes sometimes when you have hard starting, it could be a lot of things. It could be the starter first, the solenoid, the motor, and could be your battery. So when I fixed the starter solenoid, when I replaced it, it was still, it started, but there was times that it started medyo like you need 2 clicks for it to start. So that's when I found out that the battery that was installed had low amps. So it had 9. And for you to start the car, you need at least 11 and up. So normally, dapat 13 to 14 ang amps ng new battery. So that's why I had to replace the battery. But it's okay. Even though the batteries are expensive, we all know na mahal ang battery. But they do last naman. Depende how you use the car, right? But they do last, so that's okay. And guys, I also topped up on oil because when I went to the shop, I only had 4 liters of oil. This car needs around 4.3 as said in the manual. So I just bought this in Lazada. So this is basically for you to stick in here for the engine cap is, the oil cap is. You stick that in, and there's a filter here to catch any contaminants, and you just top it up yourself. So 0.3. So if you buy 1 liter right there of oil, and just you know, a little of that. Then you check your dipstick to check if the level is okay. I also forgot to mention, I also replaced the valve cover gasket. So here are my, I took some photos before. I think I did this mga 3 weeks ago. So I took some photos. This car, guys, because it's a 3.5 V6, it has 2 valve cover gaskets, one at the back and one at the front. So basically, you have to buy 2. You can't just buy 1. Some cars, normally 4-cylinder, they have just 1 valve cover gasket. So ito dalawa. And guys, also the filter. So if you look at the upper, my old filter here, diba sobrang dumi, and this is the new one. So this one I got in Lazada. So I replaced it myself, guys. Madali lang. So guys, in this Honda, the V6 one, this is very common. So underneath the dipstick here, you'll see it's called the spool valve assembly. So normally, dito sa Honda Philippines, sa casa, they recommend to replace the whole assembly. Sobrang mahal. I think it's over 22,000. Pero guys, I ordered on Amazon, and also some members also do sell. They pre-ordered. So gasket lang. And it doesn't cost that much. I think it's around 400, a little over 400 pesos for the gasket. So inside, when you remove this, you could replace it. For a older car, it's common to leak here. So what I did, even replacing the gasket, I had sealant. So if you could see that red, that's medyo thick sealant that they placed para to make sure na it doesn't leak. So when you start the car, normally we will see if it does leak, it will come from here. E makita mo yung langis bumababa. So this one's okay na. And like I said, guys, here, the valve cover gasket. So one at the back here, and one at the front. So dito. So somewhere here is, so 2 valve cover gaskets siya. And I also forgot to mention, guys, pag, you know, I think every around 40 to 60,000 kilometers, always replace your ATF fluid. So automatic transmission fluid. This being an automatic car, it's advisable to replace that. You know, some manufacturers, they say that it's a lifetime fluid. No, it really isn't. You have to replace that to make sure that your transmission runs smoothly. So there's no jerking or, you know, jerking motion, diba, when you, because that's when you know your transmission is bad. So guys, the last thing I bought for this car are tires. So guys, wag natin tipirin ang tires. Just because, you know, that's a safety thing. Diba? When you buy a second-hand car, I suggest, unless the owner replaced the tires, and you could check them on the date, as there's a DOT and there's a year. So if you look at here, it says 0120. So basically, January 2020 was the time they made these tires. So these are brand new. So this is made in Indonesia, Achilles tires. Those are 225/50. So these are the stock tires for these for the Honda Accord rims. So size 17 rims, 225/50 tires. So I replaced all four. And I think the tires were around 3,400 per tire. So really cheap. I mean, Achilles is a good brand. They're known for tires. Indonesia is known for making good rubber. So Achilles is okay. I mean, I ordered this online from my Suke tire guy. So I always order tires from him. And he's so nice because he comes from Valenzuela. And, you know, he delivers it all the way to Alabang. So I have no problems having to pick it up. And it's COD. I can pay once he delivers the tires. So perfect siya, okay siya. And to mount the tires, guys, are not that expensive. I think around 1.5. Hi guys, so this is another car video. So just a short video about what you should do when you buy a second-hand car, so a high mileage car. So in this case, when I bought the Honda Accord, these are the things that I replaced. I forgot to tell you guys, I also replaced, important, the air filter and the cabin filter. So the cabin filter or the AC filter is, normally it's underneath the glove compartment. So papalitan mo yan. It's easy. With the Accord sobrang dali. It takes you like basically a minute to replace. So it's very easy. And I ordered both filters at Lazada. And they're way cheaper than Casa or even other shops. So I ordered that. And I did it myself. Even with the air filter. You just need a screwdriver to unscrew 4 screws. And that's it. You take out the old one and replace with the new one. So these are the things I replaced. And you know, for your peace of mind, because when you buy a second-hand car, you really don't know what has been done with the car, right? So it's really good to check it personally. Then also go to go to a car shop and have it checked underneath also. So like I said, when I replaced the grease in the CV joints, the front axle, because this is a front-wheel drive car, it strains, diba? So you have the power and you have the steering in the front of the car. So you have to replace the grease also, guys. The grease would, I think, cost around 800 pesos. So it's not bad. So guys, thanks for watching another video. And I hope you like my videos. Please subscribe. And for more videos, I'm gonna hopefully get the BMW E46 next week. I was promised next week. Hopefully it will be done by next week. So take care, guys. Keep safe.